Hi, Sean, the Fluency Awesomizer. This is Decoding Multi-Syllabic Words, episode 114. I have 4 words I'm going to take a look at today, but before we get started, I want you to get ready to read a passage I've written. All right? I want you to read it right out loud to whoever you're there with. And definitely click pause. I want you to have plenty of time to read it out loud, all right? And so you're going to click pause and put a stop to the show, and then click again so we can continue in a moment. Ready? Read this right out loud. All right, were any of those words tricky to read? Keep watching if so. In this episode, I'm going to review these 4 words, show you some strategies and some information you might want to recall next time you're stuck on these words, or words like them when you're reading independently. First, a reminder of the fable of the tortoise and the hare. And the moral, slow and steady wins the race, which is great advice when you do get stuck on big unfamiliar words when you're reading independently. I'll use unfamiliar as an example. Think of these words as races. There is a finish line, and if you read like the hare, you might want to get to that finish line first. And those tend to zip through big words like this. That's where mistakes can easily happen. But if you read like the hare, and you take it slow and steady when you come to these words, that patience is definitely going to help improve your ability to decode them. All right. Keep that in mind. Let's practice. All right. This word from the passage looks like it starts with un, and anim, and is that mouse, mousely? Is this unanimously? This is the word unanimously. Really tricky word to read. It's an adverb. The root is unanimous. Might be familiar with that word. It's an adjective. It's tricky to read. It does not start with the syllable un. It starts with u. Yeah, that letter u sometimes says its name. U says you. That's a rule you need to know about the letter u. And to remember it, I like to say, when you says you say unanimous in this case. Right? Unanimous originates in ancient Latin, unanimus, right? That's where the U that says you comes from. And it means a union, speaking of you says you, a union, or it means of one mind. That's because the root is unus, meaning the number 1 in Latin, unus, which is where we get the word unicorn, right? That one horn. Why is it unicorn and not unicorn? Anyway, the other part of that word is animus, meaning spirit or life in Latin, which is the root word is anima, the Latin word for living being, which is where we get animal. Unanimous in Latin, you can tell that's where we get the English word from. But in English, a long time ago, they scooched the US over and added an O. So we have an OUS spelling pattern now. And it looks like mouse, right? It does. But you don't hear the O. It's pronounced kind of like reading the Latin word unanimous. So this OUS spelling pattern, you have to be able to recall and remember when you spell. You don't hear the O, but it is there. Some common words are famous, right? It seems like you would spell famous without an O. And enormous, same thing without an O, but it isn't OUS. And unanimous, which means everyone agrees. It's unanimous. Like everyone agrees mice are cute, right? Add an ly and you have a word that describes how something is done unanimously, like everyone voted unanimously that the mice are cute. Unanimously. All right, not to be confused with this word. I'm going to go to the end. We were just talking about mouse. That doesn't say mouse, right? That has the OUS spelling pattern. You don't hear the O. So it starts with anon, and is that nime or nimus? This is anonymously, also an adverb. Root word is anonymous, which is an adjective. It's a tricky word to read. That Y has more than one sound. In this case, it's not nime, it's nim. It sounds like a short I sound, anonym. And that Y is there because this word originates in ancient Latin, anonymous. Anonymous with a US, it means without a name, like a mystery person, anonymous. There's also a Greek word, anonymos, with OS. So that's where we get the English word anonymous, which, again, the OUS spelling pattern there, seems like it has the Latin US and the Greek OS all put together. So you don't hear the O, it's OUS, but it sounds like anonymous. How can you remember, though, it has mouse at the end? Well, think of an anonymous mouse. Most mice you ever see, you don't know their name, right? So there's an anonymous mouse in your house. Put an ly in the end, you have anonymously, right? Somebody maybe anonymously saw a mouse. Anonymously. Another word from the passage Starts with the syllable perp. There's an R control vowel sound there. Perp, not to be confused with prep. That letter R can move around on you, especially if you're reading like the hair. Prep versus perp. Prep, perp. See the difference? All right, perp, pet. And what do you do with UA? That's a strange vowel pair, UA. Well, let's focus on what we know. This word ends with ating. That could be to, ating. This is perpetuating, perpetuating. Perpetuating is a verb. The root word is perpetuate. Tricky word to read because of the U says you, doesn't it? Perpetuate. So remember, when you says you say perpetuate. Actually sounds like chew-ate, doesn't it? Perpetuate. But it's perpetuate. And this word originates in Latin as well, perpetuatus. In Latin, there's the U that says you, but the A says A as well in this strange vowel pair, UA, perpetuatus. Comes from the Latin word perpetuus, meaning continuous, like the earth continues to spin around and around without ever stopping, perpetuous. The Latin word perpetuatus means to cause to continue indefinitely. Like hunger will cause you to think about food all the time. Perpetuatus also means to protect from extinction. Words have more than one meaning. But you can see this Latin word, that's where we get the English word perpetuate, where at some point they added a silent E to that Latin root. So we have perpetuate, and if you want to add a suffix to that, you're going to have to drop that E and then, in this case, add ing to get perpetuating. Not to be confused with perp, or controlled vowel sound again in this word, not to be confused with prep. Perp, perpet, and there is another R in this word. Trating would be the pronunciation. Perpetrating, that is a verb. Root words perpetrate, another verb. The origin is ancient Latin perpetratus, perpetratus meaning to carry out. And the per is a Latin prefix meaning completely, among other things. Perpetratus meaning to perform or just simply to do, perpetratus. And it could be doing anything, good or bad, doing anything. In Latin, so this Latin, you can see that Latin word became perpetrate in English. They added a silent E at some point. Perpetrate. Now today in English, perpetrate typically means doing bad things, like to commit a crime, perpetrate. They started using it a long time ago in the court of law. Perpetrate. So to add a suffix to perpetrate, you have to drop that E. And in this case, add an ing, perpetrating, perpetrating. That's a long A there because it used to be that silent E. All right, that's it for today's lesson. Subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on Facebook for more decoding videos like this one. Tell a friend, a family member, or a teacher about me and spread the good word. That'd be great. And at my Facebook page, there is a photo album I've included that is full of reading passages you can use to continue practice decoding those big words at home, which will definitely awesomize your fluency. All right, I hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. Come back and see me soon. Bye.